Welcome to Unscripted with me, Grace Salame. Thank you so much for tuning in. I appreciate your viewership. And of course, we are hosted today by the very beautiful, gorgeous Gramo Suits. Next time you're in Kilaleshwa, come and let's have a swim day together. It's a date? Super. So today on the show, we're discussing vitiligo, which is a skin condition that causes various white patches on your body, and there is no clear cause of it. So to bring us a better understanding, we have two beautiful, brave women who are here to share their experience with us. So let's get started. Welcome to Unscripted. Welcome to the show. My name is Grace Salame. As I mentioned earlier, today we're discussing a skin condition which I think and feel has not been given adequate awareness. So today with me I have two beautiful, brave women who will give us a better understanding. I like to start, so let's just go straight to the beginning. You get the whispers, the stares, the ridicule. One, how does that make you feel? And two, for both of you, if you could share, when was your first sign of vitiligo or vitiligo? Yeah. So how people respond to you as a person? How does that feel, and when did it first begin? Yeah.
Let me start with how it started, and I can go to the people, because my sister passed away in October last year of cancer. She had breast cancer, so she'd been struggling for 2-3 years with it, and so immediately we finished the burial process. I resumed office, so that was in October still. So November went well, no drama. Then December, the first week of December, I started noticing 3 spots on my left cheek.
So out of nowhere, like Gladwell looked, you're perfectly normal.
Exactly. So
one day you wake up,
3 spots on my cheek. And I didn't think much about it, quite honestly. I think maybe, as I mentioned earlier, I was from burying my sister, so I was still in that headspace. Yes. So any other thing that was going on was pretty, it will go away eventually. And then January, February, it really now started spreading. The 3 spots joined into one, and then it continued spreading. Bigger. Yeah. So I went to the doctor in January. He had diagnosed it as a tinea vesicala.
What is that?
A fungal infection.
Okay. So
he gave me medication for it, but it wasn't helping. It's not stopping. As a matter of fact, I think it was even accelerating it. And then so I called him. I told him it's not working. So I sought a second opinion. The second doctor, immediately I stepped into his office. He just told me, you have vitiligo. He didn't even look at it.
He knew instantly.
He just pushed the file aside and said, you have vitiligo, and this is what I prescribed for you. At that point, when I met my doctor, I was really down. I was like, vitiligo. So I knew what vitiligo was before from things that I've read on the media. And so I didn't think much of it. I was like, okay, so I know vitiligo does not have a cure. So why are we having this discussion? Yeah, because I just shoot straight. Why are we having this discussion? He said, you need first to change your attitude. Because vitiligo has no cure, but has treatment, depending on how the person responds to it.
Yes.
Okay, because people's bodies are different, and the experiences are different. Yeah. So if we start this, I would like you to do 2 things for me. 1, stop consulting Dr. Google.
Yes, I agree. Dr. Google will make
he
you, will tell
is
you
not
you have 5 minutes to live.
Is he a specialist?
I agree.
So I said, no, he's not. Stop consulting Dr. Google. Secondly, this condition will not go away next week. It will not go away next month. Yeah. But it's doable. Yeah. Okay, it's doable, and because with skin conditions, it takes time. So you can't rush the process. It's been 5 months I've been using this. Why is it not working? And I know technically that's how we think.
However, for you, I'm sure we'll show the pictures on the screen. Yeah, there's been a difference.
Exactly.
In span of 2 months.
Yes.
There's been a change.
Yes.
Okay. So before you even tell us how the public responded to you, Mongo, you can tell us for you, when did it start? When was your first sign of it?
I first got vitiligo when I was 14 years. I was in Pangani Girls Form 2. My desk mate came and told me, you have chalk on your eye. So we tried wiping it, the chalk didn't go away. We tried after class, it still didn't go when I washed my face. So I told her, I'll go see the nurse in the evening, and I tell her I have a mark here and it's not going away. So when I went to the nurse was like, she doesn't know what this is. So she called my parents the next day. My mom came for me. We went to hospital to Dr. Monda. Dr. Monda told my mom, this is vitiligo. And I'm going to give
So for
her.
you, there was no misdiagnosis. Instantly, the doctor knew.
He just looked at me. He was like, "This is vitiligo."
I see.
He wrote some medications for me. I used. It actually went away.
It went away?
Yes. When I put it, you see the way it's clearing for her?
Yeah.
It cleared on my eye. But now it came back on my neck, behind my neck.
How soon after?
Like 3 months.
I see.
So I still went back. He gave us the same medication. But now the medication was giving me blisters. Because he'd tell me, put the medication, go to the sun that is before the sunset or sunrise. I
Yes.
shouldn't sit when it's very hot.
yes.
It's sunrise or sunset. So I'd sit between those times to burn my skin, and then I'd go back to the house. That's how you use that medication. So I used it for a while till it came to my fingertips. No, here they don't have you can't apply that because there's no way it's gonna treat this. So he told me, now for this you have to live with it and take some tablets. I took the tablets, but it never came back.
So for you, what was the cause? And for you at that point, was it genetic, or do you know what caused it for you? If you could both share.
I didn't. Okay, it's perceived that when you have vitiligo, you have thyroid issues. That runs in your family, not you specifically, but it runs in your family, or diabetes, or such kind of ailments. My thyroid was okay as per the test. So the trigger for me was just extreme emotional stress.
Imagine.
1, 2, I had very low blood count at that point when it started. My blood count was 10. For normal people would be 12 and 13 upwards, because that's now you're okay. So my immune system was just down fast. And then now you've added stress. So with those two, and vitiligo spreads with stress.
Yeah.
The more down you are,
The
it will show you the
faster.
business. So I had to, I didn't know at that point what it was. So he just, with the medication, that's how it's been going on. And
But for you, so that was your body's way of responding to stress.
yes, yeah.
That's a big aha
Eye-opener.
moment. Yes, I open
Yes.
it to people at home that
Yes.
what stress can do to your body.
Yes.
It has to come out.
You downplay stress, you think it's,
that is
my boss or my mom or my parents are stressing me.
Yeah.
But when you don't address those issues, and then you meet a big one, because the big one was my sister passing, added on that.
You never know.
Now, it will not trigger that vitiligo on Jane, who's stressed because her brother passed away. It could come in another way: diabetes, high blood pressure, the other issues
I
that.
feel like there's so many, because I got fibroids last year. I had to go in for surgery, and the past couple of years were very intense for me. And I believe that was one of my body just had to see all these things you were
Yes,
holding.
exactly.
It had to come out.
Come
somehow.
out, exactly.
I believe in some cancers that's what happens.
Yes, yes.
So we have to be so intentional when we're going through a tough season.
Yes.
To find coping mechanisms, I
Exactly.
think, so
Yes.
to be easier and kinder to the body.
Yeah.
I could be wrong, but I feel like
you have to learn now how to deal with you first. You do you first. Huh?
Yes.
Yeah,
So
the
now when
rest.
you meet with a crowd, now you know where your space ends. Huh?
okay.
I know it's not easy because people have different experiences, different cultures. So hers experience, not my experience. But you have to have a little bit faith in yourself. Find out your inner space. How you can cope with yourself.
Yeah.
And then now you go outside,
Go and face
expanding
the
that
world.
circle as you go on.
I
Yeah.
love that. For you, my dear, could the doctors trace what caused it to trigger?
They just said it's a condition where my antibodies are fighting my melanin cells. So my melanin cells cannot be able to produce skin color.
Melanin.
So they said my antibodies are very strong, so they're taking my melanin cells as diseases in my body. So they're fighting them
I see.
against them.
And you mentioned you started treatment.
Yeah,
What made you stop?
I got tired. I actually just got tired. I think my mom and I tried everything, even traveling out of the country. So we tried, there's nothing we hadn't tried. For me to finally tell her it's okay, I can live with it, I had tried every medication that is there for vitiligo. And I remember one day just told her it's okay, I'll live with it, the way it is. And when I stopped, actually, what she said about blood counts, I was doing a therapy session at Kenyatta. It's a phototherapy, now it's at Kenyatta and Medanta, just opposite Nairobi Hospital, they also have it. So I remember there's a day I was really unwell. I kept getting a cold. Every time I'd just get a cold.
Yeah.
So I went to hospital. We went with my mom to hospital, at Nairobi Hospital. So the doctor told me, you go outside because first you don't have white blood cells.
Wow.
So they told me now, you have to do a HIV test on you because that's the cause.
Immunity was that low?
Yes. So they did the HIV test. They found I was negative.
Yeah.
So they told my mom, is there anything else she's been doing? So my mom was like, yeah, she goes for therapy, phototherapy at Kenyatta. Phototherapy is like, you just remove your clothes and then there's light that burns your skin.
Yeah. Okay.
So the doctor told me to immediately stop because instead of making my melanin cells stronger, it was killing my white blood cells. So I stopped the medication. That was also a part of me stopping it because I realized I'm actually harming my body more than helping it.
Yeah.
So I decided to stop, and when I stopped, it spread in a span of 6 to 7 months. I became fully white. Fully white.
Let's take a short break. We'll be right back with Gladwell and Wangoi as they bring more understanding to this conversation. Keep it here. And welcome back to the show. Special thanks to Grammar Suits for hosting us today, and Gladwell and Wangoi. Asante sana for coming on the show. How was it your first instant when you wake up in the morning and your face is different? For you, how did you deal with that mentally, emotionally, and then you go out into the world? They also have a response. How was that like for you?
For me, I think it's a personal, it's a daily walk. Like there are days when I don't think about it, go away with my day, do activities, meet people, finish. Then the days you wake up, you're like, what is this on my face? Really? Of course, I know what it is in my head, but it's just like, I can't deal with it, but I have to deal with it. So you have to constantly just talk to yourself, have a little self-talk before you get out of the house.
Yeah.
And then when you get out of the house, the stares, I was telling her, sneers, it equals to a sneer. Like,
How?
and I would understand, honestly, Grace, I'd understand why they would look at me like that. Because my face right now is in the process of healing, I would like to believe. So it's more dramatic. It's pink surrounded by black boundaries. So part of my face you'd see black and then pink. So people associate it with the burn.
The burn.
So they think, you got burnt?
Are you okay?
Oh my God, is it painful? So they kind of, like if I would see a burn patient, it's the same way I would change my face. I wouldn't know I'm changing my face, but I just want to identify with. Yeah, so I'd understand that. But again, it's for me to understand that people come also from a good point. They're not, okay, they're not the malicious ones that I've heard. Oh my, not those ones. Yeah. But I understand people generally just come from a good front. So you balance that in your head and you understand. So sometimes I want to answer questions about it. Sometimes I'm just like, no, today I'm not talking about my face. Let's talk about something else.
Also, that's why I feel conversations like these is so important in terms of awareness. So next time someone sees you, they know, oh, that's what's happening. And there's more empathy as opposed to the negative remarks or the many questions. But it can get exhausting.
It is exhausting sometimes.
So for you, what's been the hardest thing or part to deal with in all of this?
Children.
Children?
Yeah.
What do you mean?
Because children are innocent.
Yes,
and
they're
blunt,
so honest.
and straight to the point. They'll come point at you, or others just stare at you like, you know, because they're trying, is it a painting on your face? The Caribbeans will come and ask you, what happened to your face? Did you get burnt?
It's so beautiful though. Like you have a painting.
I feel, I was told like it looks like a flower on my cheek. But okay, my reaction, that challenges the children. Blunt, come and ask. Some of them want to touch, like, what's going on? You know, and you can't start explaining to a child what is on your face. So you just, you know, take it as it is.
Take it as it comes.
Yeah.
Or how has, for you when it first happened, how did that affect your state emotionally and mentally? And then also the world responding to you, how was that experience like?
Well, it came when I was 14 years old. That's an age where you're trying to find yourself.
Exactly.
And it's an age where you look at your outer beauty most. You don't look at your inner beauty at that point. And even the people you associate with, they tend to look at how you look. How you look, your outward appearance, not. So it was really hard for me. It was a stage I wouldn't want to go back because it was the saddest part of my life between 14 to 21 years. I don't think I'd say I did anything of importance at that point. I talked to myself like, oh, you're strong, you're strong, you're strong. We're going to deal with it, we're going to deal with it. I had a boyfriend, by the way, when I got vitiligo. But when it spread, actually, he left. And he told me, hey, you guys, I don't know what's happening to you. So And I told him, you know what, it's fine. Though I really cried.
Yeah.
I was like, why, you know, I'd ask God, why would you give me this at such a tender age?
Yeah.
If it came when I was 30, it would be fine. But at 14 years, when I'm just
Where
starting
you're just
life,
finding yourself.
yes, it was really hard, especially also in campus. And walking in town was one of the hardest things I had to deal with. You'd hear people just say all sorts of things.
Like what?
Or you'd hear someone say, oh, you're cursed, or you stole someone's husband, oh, were you poured on acid, oh, lichomeka, you know, such things. You'd hear many things like that. I don't think there's anyone who's gone through what I've gone through.
Yeah.
Like living with vitiligo at such a tender age and having to hear people say all sorts of things, it was really hard for me. Really, really. It took courage for me to actually accept and just decide, okay, they're going to say this, and you have to accept it, because you can't start beating someone in town. Honestly, you will beat a million people
Right?
if you start. So I decided I have to be courageous enough and just accept that I'm living with vitiligo. And since I decided I will not continue with medication, I had to accept the fact that it is going to spread. And I had to look at the outcomes. How am I going to look? How will I deal with it? When I was 19, 20, I went for counseling at least. That really helped.
Good.
And I was able to cope with it. But I've had the worst days. There's a day someone shouted, "Is that a monkey?" That was bad. That is good. There's someone who shouted in Swahili. Hiyo ni nyani. It's worse when someone says it
In Swahili.
And then I was even telling her, just the other day in traffic, I was driving, and then someone was overtaking. I didn't see them, so I was coming out. That guy just shouted, wewe unatoka na venye uko na sura mbaya. So I was like, oh my God, not today. I even told myself, not today, not today, because I was going to Nakuru and I was going to supply sunscreen. So it really hurt me, but there's really nothing I could do. I just decided, okay, you're going to still live with this. It takes courage to live through these night comments. It really, really does. And it's hard, it's bad enough because people don't know what vitiligo is. So when they say such things, they don't say it from a bad place. They say because of ignorance. I've grown not to like kids because you'll find kids, they'll come to you and then run away. They'll be like, mommy, what's happening to that? Is she black? Is she white? You know, those are the questions they'll ask. So nowadays when I meet kids, I'll tell them, oh, just come and touch my hand. Once they touch, they're like, what happened to you? I'm like, when you eat a lot of sugar, then I turn white. That's my response nowadays to kids. And it's made me be more soft towards children because these are people who don't know. But to an adult, I think it's not right to
be ignorant.
Or say,
and also in the age of Google,
can,
imagine,
yes.
we don't have to be ignorant.
Yeah.
We really
I was
don't.
even in a certain relationship where someone told me, this is like 2-3 years ago, the person I was dating told me, you know what, I'm actually doing you a favor.
I'm doing you a favor?
Yeah, they told me, there's so many women who want to be with me.
Wow.
But at that point, I felt if he ever left, who will come and date me?
Yeah.
And I stayed because I stayed with them for 4 years, and I'd ask myself, if he left, who would love me for the way I look? Yeah. So I stayed because I hadn't accepted myself. And the day I accepted, I actually told him, you know what, just go, it's fine, I'll be fine. Until today, he's never accepted I left.
What would you tell that girl who has questions, who is wondering, will I ever be loved? Who, you've told me of a boy who discovered that he has it and now he's in depression. For you, Wangoi specifically, how did you get to the point of acceptance and deciding, imagine I can face the world? You think that, your perception, that's a reflection of you, but I'm going to face the world anyway. How did you get there?
I talk to myself a lot. So I'll tell myself, you know, you're already living with vitiligo, so accept it. One thing, I had to accept myself for who I am. And I kept talking to myself. And even when I went through counseling, the counselor would tell me, just accept it. Because if I don't accept it, then I'll keep rejecting it. And every time I reject it, I'll take the snide comments as really bad things. Yeah. We've had cases of suicide, people who teenagers committed suicide because of vitiligo. Yeah. This is because they didn't accept it. I know it's not easy. Yeah. It's taken me 8 years to accept that I'm living with vitiligo. Yeah. By the time I accepted, now I've lived with it for 15 years. By the time I accepted it, it really took a toll on me and my family because I'd lock myself up. I'd cry, I'd just cry the whole day. And I'd ask God, why did you, I'm very prayerful, so I'd keep asking God, why?
I see your tattoo.
Yeah, they're all about God.
Yeah.
So I'd keep asking God, why me, why? There's so many people in this world. Why Wangoi? Why did you pick me to get such a condition? But I'd pray also, and my parents would pray for me. So
Did that give you strength?
Yes, and my family has been my biggest support system.
Yes.
I come from a family of boys, so they've been my biggest support system.
So glad for you. It happened later in life.
Right.
How was the response from your family? And how did they deal with it?
My daughter came up to me once, the oldest daughter, who's 7. Shiba, and she came and asked me, "What's going on with your face?" And I said, "It's a condition called vitiligo where the melanin is being attacked by the system, so it turns white." I said, "Oh, okay," and that was it. But that was it. There was no
finished.
Yeah, finished.
Okay.
In fact, if you talk to Shiba right now, she'd explain to you what vitiligo is. My husband is, I've got support. My husband, my mom, my children. I do not feel vitiligo on my face when I'm with them until I step out. Because then I'm like, okay, why is he staring at me? Oh, it's vitiligo on my face.
Okay.
So the support has been amazing.
Support system
Yeah,
is key.
it's
Fantastic.
you don't realize you have it until you step outside.
Until you step outside. So as we wrap this part, you could talk to that person at home who has the condition and just doesn't know what to do or how they feel. What would you tell them?
It's not a death sentence. You have to come out. You have to have a self-talk, like she talked about self-talk.
Yeah.
Yourself first. Deal with you first. Say, fine, I have it. I have to deal with it.
Yeah.
And then the people who have worse conditions than vitiligo. And they're out there and they're really running the show. You know what I mean? Like they have businesses. They are out there doing their
Even
things.
models. Winnie
Yes,
Harlow.
exactly.
Isn't she one of the biggest models internationally?
And
Yeah.
look at Nawili.
Yes.
Okay.
Excuse me.
An MCA herself.
check myself.
And she's doing, yes. So, and then vitiligo doesn't stop
you.
you. When you're in that state, you're accelerating it. You're making it worse.
Yeah.
Because it spreads by stress, by negative thoughts and negative, feelings and all that energy that you have going on. So deal with that energy first. And then secondly, there are people doing great things. And you can get
be
out.
one of them.
And I want to encourage them, just call who you can call or get out. Make the first step. Doesn't have to be 10, 15, just one step out. And deal with that negative comment and say, fine, yes, but you have to accept it and get out because it's not a death sentence, honestly.
It's not. And what I said earlier, other people's perception of you is a reflection on them. Yeah. So don't let that get to you. Yeah. On that note, take a short break. We'll be right back. And we're here today at Gramo Suits. Thanks for having us. Stay tuned. Welcome back to Unscripted. With me is Gladwell and Wangoi. Beautiful, brave women. Thank you once again for coming on the show. Like I said before, I honestly feel like the awareness about vitiligo is not where it should be. Like we could use a lot more work. Am I wrong? If you could tell me, is that so, and what more can we do?
There's basically no awareness. We've tried with Moshimo Maora. I told him if he could assist me do it, because he's really done a good job with persons living with albinism.
Yes.
And we started distributing sunscreen to persons with albinism and vitiligo. And that's how we are using that platform to create awareness. So if I tell you today I'm going to Nakuru, I'll call the chief, the area MC, and tell them I'm coming to this ward. Please make sure you've called people, even people not living with albinism or vitiligo, because we want to give them sunscreen and talk to the community about this condition. So you'll find I go to the community, I tell them vitiligo is like this, and it's a condition, it's not a bad omen, it's just something that can happen to you or me. It comes at any age.
Are they perceptive? Do they receive
They receive it, but they normally tell me, wacha tukwambie madam, before ukuja hapa, sisi tulikuwa tunajua huyu mtu ako na AIDS. Tulikuwa tunajua familia yake imekasiwa. They say such things. And you see, it's kwanza mashinani, I'm telling her mashinani is worse.
They don't
Nairobi
understand.
is better. Mashinani is worse. They say all sorts of things.
Wanasema
hata huyu kwao ni wezi, such things. You're just like, hapana, it's not about...
They look for anything else
to blame.
They
look
look
for anything else to blame apart from your immune system.
I see.
So we normally talk to them and encourage them to accept persons with vitiligo. We also talk to parents with children living with vitiligo. You'll find most parents with children living with vitiligo hide them, especially in Mashinani. There's a case I went to Karatena. I went to distribute sunscreen. The woman actually released dogs on me.
Released dogs on you?
Yes. And my bike had refused to start. So I thank God it started, because those dogs would have mauled me. Yeah, because they're like, usikuja hapa tena, hatutaki dawa. Nyinyi ndio mnakuja mnaongezea hii ugonjwa. I'm just like, oh my God, it's a condition. You'll find most children living with vitiligo are hidden. So what I'd tell anyone viewing right now, if you have a child living with vitiligo, let them come out, let them play, let them go to schools that like everyone goes to school.
Yes.
It's as important as a normal child
I know.
who's
Let's
not living with
normalize it.
vitiligo.
And you also vied for office. And you
Yes,
were an
I vied.
MCA for
Yeah,
a period of
currently,
time. Yeah.
I was an MCA 2013, 2017.
What spurred that? What led to that? And how did that
I
affect change?
used to work at a bank. I will not mention the name.
Uh-huh.
And this is another thing that I didn't say.
Yeah.
When I was at the bank, people will come to you, tell I not come to mine. So I left the bank because I felt discriminated. It wasn't the bank, it was just the perception of people living out there. If I touch their money, they'll get vitiligo. Honestly,
really?
I left I stayed for 2 months. I stayed for 2 months at the bank and I left. When I left, I stayed home for a year, just wondering what I'll do. Then one day I decided, you know what, I want to be a youth leader. So I went to the national party, the TNA, the National Alliance Party, and I decided to be their camera person. So I used to do cameras for the presidents going around the country. Then I was finally nominated to be an MC in Nyeri to represent persons living with disabilities and the youth. And that's how I came up. We have a fund that gives money to people living with disabilities, and specifically vitiligo. They get funds that you pay at a very small interest so that they can be able to start their own businesses. But it's also not be done for awareness. So people don't know there's such a fund in different counties, because when I rallied it in Nyeri, I also rallied it with different MCs in the country.
I see.
And we also placed monies in our budgets that will be annually in all counties. I told them, in case the national government doesn't supply sunscreen, at least the counties can be able to buy sunscreens for persons living with vitiligo.
Well done. So I guess at some point in the show, we'll just share your details to people at home who need to reach out to either get sunscreen or just get support. They can seek you. But because of what you said, with the job you were doing, you felt this is not working for me. You felt that discrimination. It spurred you on, something maybe you never thought about, to get into leadership. So if I could, I believe in everything, no matter how bad it is. I've been taught to look for the silver lining, to look for the good thing, to look for the beauty in that story. So if I could ask you, for you, have you found it?
Not yet.
Okay.
But on the path of find it.
Okay.
But what I'm slowly learning is whatever you have, it could easily go away. You know, you're banking, you're using it as a crutch because you think that's the best you have. And then what happens when it goes away? Who are you? What are you? I mean, what makes you get up early in the morning to do? And what if it goes away tomorrow? What are you going to do? So it's not just put our faith in that, but for me, it's just realizing that, okay, fine, let's go find out what it is that I would love to do.
Great. Do you have like a fear? Like, what's your greatest fear, if there is any?
Now that I've thought about it, I don't spend time thinking about the fears.
Good. What do you focus on? Growth?
Yes. You don't study the things that are fake. You stick on study the original.
Positive.
Yeah. You're alive, you're well, you have breath, move. Yes, not focus on what ifs.
Yeah.
They're not there, they don't exist. Yeah.
And going down the what if journey.
Yes.
Doesn't help.
Yeah. So for now, just have vitiligo for now. What can I do to encourage someone who is at that space where they don't know what to do?
Yeah.
Then I'd help, I'd encourage. Yeah.
Greatest hopes.
Everybody
Hopes
knows
and
what
dreams.
vitiligo is.
Oh, that we get to that place.
Yeah, you know, it would be so cool. Like, I walked into a doctor's place. It wasn't my doctor, just a general doctor. And I didn't even say 2 words. And he went like, you have vitiligo. Do you know how that statement just makes you feel? Oh, he gets me, you know.
Okay.
So if people would just, oh, you have this condition, so okay. And it's, you know,
move on.
Business as usual, let's move on. So for me, if the awareness, like, I have to commend what you're doing, Wangoi, really. I mean, it's really quite something. It looks small for now, but let me tell you, the effect that lady or that boy or that man can sleep on his bed thinking that Wangoi came to see me.
She gets me. She
is
understands.
I'm telling you. Just that realization that someone just acknowledges, oh, you have? Okay, don't worry. I've been there. Is very powerful.
For you, Angoi?
My greatest fear?
Yeah, fear and then hope. Yeah.
Honestly, my greatest fear. I know we are not supposed to fear death, but I fear dying without fulfilling my purpose.
That's good.
Like serving.
Very empty.
Yes, die empty.
Yes.
I fear dying without having touched someone who needed me. Like having not met, Grace needed me, but I wasn't there for them. That's my biggest fear. My biggest fear. I don't fear death, but I fear dying without fulfilling what God sent me to do.
Purpose.
Yeah.
It's
Yes.
powerful.
Hope
Greatest hope. Yeah.
everyone to know what vitiligo is.
Same thing.
It will make the world a better place.
Oh, man.
It will.
Yeah.
It will, and people to be more empathetic
Yeah.
about the condition.
Yeah.
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 If you could finish this sentence. Beauty to me is.
I normally finish every interview saying vitiligo is beautiful.
Vitiligo
It's
is-
extremely beautiful.
It is.
Yes.
It is. I love what you said about you feel like God literally drew a butterfly in your face.
Yeah.
That for
Like
me
when you
just
look at her,
made
the
my
way she
heart
says,
warm. Yeah.
Yeah, we normally see God. We are a piece of art to God. He drew a butterfly on my face.
Yes.
And you'll find other people who have like a face of Africa.
Yeah.
Like you see hers,
flower.
it's a flower. They come
Yeah.
with different patterns. You'll find someone whose pattern is a love heart.
Yeah.
Such things.
Yeah.
It's just art. It's God's art.
God's art.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like that. I think I'm just going to agree with that.
It's God's
Beauty
art.
is art. And it's not art as per the world standards,
Yes.
but as per God's standards.
Yes.
Amen.
Yeah.
Amen. So as we wrap, ladies, do you have any parting shot for anyone at home who, if you want to speak to the people who are on the outside, they have no experience of it, what would you tell them? Or to those who have family members that have vitiligo, what would be your last parting shot to them? Or to someone who has it? Yeah. You can pick who you'd like to speak to as we wrap.
I feel people are beautiful, whether you have vitiligo, whether you do not have it. You're beautiful inside out.
Yeah. It starts from, it's an inside journey,
It's
isn't
inside,
it?
it's an inside
out.
journey that comes out.
There you go.
So whether you have vitiligo or not, it's just one of the side shows. But that's not what the show is. The show is you.
Yes.
You are the business.
Yes.
So I think for me, it's just to encourage any person who is out there on your bed, in the house. You feel like you are in some sort of, vitiligo is your curse. It's your small prison. Get out.
Get out.
Get out. There's much more to life out there than just vitiligo.
I love it. Wangoi?
Last
Parting shot? Yeah.
Vitiligo is beautiful, and we should, as persons living with vitiligo, it's a journey of acceptance. You just can't wake up one day and accept.
Exactly.
So I'd just tell them to take a daily pep talk. Every day you wake up, just give yourself a pep talk. I'm Wangoi and I'm beautiful, and I'm living with vitiligo.
Yeah.
No matter what I do, I'll still live with it. Yes, I might get medication and it goes, what if it recurs? How am I going to live with it?
Yeah.
The biggest part, as a person living with vitiligo, we should do is just accept it.
Yeah.
And as family members of persons living with vitiligo, we should encourage them, talk to them, be their foundation,
That's
so
true.
that they don't lose hope in life.
Yeah.
And as parents of children, especially young kids living with vitiligo,
Yeah.
allow your children to live like normal children.
Yes.
Let them play, let them go out, don't hide them, because I know of parents who hide them. Just let them go out and play, and just remind them how beautiful they are in God's eyes and in all of our eyes. And yes, let's stop discriminating people with vitiligo.
Let's stop.
Just a condition, and it's not, you can't spread it. It's not
Contagious.
It's not contagious.
Contagious.
So it's autoimmune condition where your antibodies fight your melanin cells.
Yeah.
And it's
Which
not
is
contagious.
different.
Just accept and
Yes.
love people with vitiligo and smile when you see one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because, and just to add on what she said, just stop discriminating, period.
Period.
Whether it's
Also for
vitiligo,
employers.
whether it's disabled,
For employers.
whether
You
it's,
said for
yeah.
employers.
For employers, I've had cases where employees have come to me, Wangoi, I've been kicked out, what do we do? As a person, I take you to National Council, you get a lawyer, and you now start suing the company, because you'll find you entered the company without vitiligo.
Yes.
You've
Then they
gotten
discriminate.
vitiligo. They start saying, you unafukuza customer. So they tell you, we've given you a 90-day leave.
Yeah.
Kumbe, they're sucking you.
Yeah.
So as employers, just accept persons living with vitiligo.
Please.
It's not something that is contagious. Even if you don't, no, it shouldn't given you. It shouldn't give an employer a what if I put them here, will customers come? I think we should, as employers, embrace persons living with vitiligo. And
I
just,
agree.
you'll find most people outside there living with vitiligo are really qualified,
They
but they
are.
don't have jobs. And you find them, most of them end up wallowing in alcohol or depression.
Yeah.
So as employers, just accept them.
And society as a whole.
Yeah.
So thank you, Gladwell and Wangoi, for helping us, just giving us a better understanding of what vitiligo is and what it is like to live with it every single day.
Yeah.
And I think the big take home for all of us on the outside is let's just be more empathetic. Let's stop with the ignorance, with the sneering. Let's do research. And we are all, imagine the day we're all one. Like we are just all one. So let's just show love. When you see someone smile, let's try that instead. Instead of sneering, let's
Smile.
try smiling. Imagine you'll get that back. So thank you for watching. If you want to reach out, I'll share Wangoi's details and Gladwell if you'd like to speak to them. And of course, in the show, our details are right below. We'll see you next week. God bless you. And remember, smile and show love. Bye, guys.